I've been to many sleep psychiatrists over the past years, and I've done a lot of tests due to my specific case of sleepwalking that doesn't seem to be going away. And so, therefore, I got a lot of information on sleep and how to clean up your sleep hygiene. People who are still struggling with their first NOFAP streaks, they're under 90 days, they cannot make this one mistake. This is something that I've struggled with before, and I've fallen into not doing it well enough and therefore relapsing into watching porn for short periods of time. Although I was doing everything else, when I was in my early 20s, I was playing Counter-Strike about 8 to 10 hours a day. I was making a small amount of money, not enough to live off of, but it meant that my sleep schedule was shifted to waking up at noon and going to bed at 4 a.m. to practice with the professional players after midnight when their practice ended. It was a very smart choice in my brain because I could play with the actual pros who get paid enough to live off of their paycheck. But it actually ruined not just the opportunities that I have due to declined mental performance, but also it ruined my sleep, and it made me very, very, very miserable. So I became a bad sleeper, and I have been struggling with sleep ever since. But when you're on self-improvement, sleep is the number one thing. So when you don't sleep well enough, or when you sleep at the wrong times, i.e. during the day instead of at night, your mental performance just simply declines. So it is extremely important to keep a proper and clean sleep schedule. I will give you the most important detail. There is a hygiene checklist for sleep hygiene, a big sheet with the big list on it. And the number one thing on it is wake up at the same time every day. That's the number one thing. It doesn't matter if you're sleep deprived. It doesn't matter if you are having a bad night of sleep. As long as you wake up at the same time every single day, your sleep will constantly improve. Now, honestly, I've got to come clear here. I've been struggling with waking up at the same time every day, once again, due to not having a proper sleep schedule and being used to waking up at noon for about 6 years in the past. I'm still struggling with this. And so here is a practical way to reset your sleep. This video is about this is just a vlog. I'm going to show you how I reset my sleep and what I do. So let's jump right into it. So the way this works is I am going to wake up at 7:30 a.m. from now on. I decided to go for 7:30 due to my environment being very loud at night, so I can't really go to sleep earlier than that. And there are other people awake in the same flat as me, so I am going to go to bed like normal. I usually go to bed at like around 3 a.m. right now, which is awful. And I will just go to bed as normal, maybe a little bit earlier because I'm already getting tired, which is good. I did a long walk today. That's also very important to tire yourself out. I walked for like 45 minutes. And after I go to bed at the same time, I will wake up at 7:30 and I will be sleep deprived and I will be struggling to stay awake. So I will slightly, very, very slightly increase the amount of coffee I drink to get me through today. But I will set an alarm for an earlier sleep time. So I will set an alarm for about 0 dark 30, which is like midnight, 30 minutes after midnight, and that's the goal. So I will reduce the amount of waking hours basically, and therefore kind of adjust, and my body will adjust a little bit better this way than versus if I just decided to try to go to bed earlier, then not being able to sleep. But sleep, I'm still trying to perfect my sleep. In the summer of 2024, I woke up basically every day at 5:30. And that was such a productive time for me because I managed to have that extra clarity that having a consistent sleep schedule gives you. Because when you're sleep deprived, your brain doesn't function as well. You literally become dumber. So it's very, very important to have the same schedule. But another thing I noticed is when you don't wake up early, you become less happy and less satisfied with life. And the more early you wake up, the more happy I seem to be, at least from my experience. Although I considered myself a night owl my whole life. Well, clearly because I was waking up at noon and sometimes even afternoon. But yeah, those days are, luckily, thank God, they're behind me, because they're awful for your health. And now it's time for me to once again get into a normal sleep schedule. And it's very important for you as well. After partying, during New Year's Eve perhaps, and going to social events, January is all about resetting and all about getting on track with the right habits. So join me on this journey, and if you're interested in coaching, if you need some help, check out the top link in the description of the video. So sleep prep. The best ways to fall asleep earlier is to take hot tea and to take a hot shower. And even if you're unable to fall asleep, you can always just do sleep meditation, and it's similar in effectiveness as sleep. You will still be rested if you do 8 hours of sleep meditation, theoretically. I haven't, luckily I haven't had that experience before, but I did have an experience where I meditated late afternoon for 1 hour, and it sort of ruined my sleep, because meditation is really, really resting. So it can mess with your sleep if you do it for a longer period before bed. Yeah, but don't worry about doing like 5 to 10 minutes of meditation before bed. That's not gonna hurt. But if you do like 1 hour, that's probably gonna be a problem. So another trick here is to make sure that when the sun comes up, the light comes in. Definitely don't darken your room when you're gonna wake up earlier than usual. It's basically impossible. It's very, very hard if you do it like that. I always just have my blinds closed normally, but when I'm trying to reset my sleep, I have to open them. So I get the sunlight in, so I understand that it's morning. There are also alarms that have, like these alarm clocks that have light built into them, and they stimulate the sun coming up, which is also awesome. But I don't have that, but I do have just normal light coming into the room in the mornings. Luckily, this is a room that's facing the sunrise, so yeah, it's perfect. Right, so another important thing is don't splash cold water on your hands when you're going to bed and you're brushing your teeth. It's important to avoid, because if you're using warm water, it's gonna be much better for falling asleep. So I'm here and it's 2:23 a.m. 23 minutes after I wanted to go to sleep. Unfortunate, and that's gonna suck tomorrow, but tomorrow's gonna suck anyway. And the only easy day was probably yesterday. So I'm out. I'm gonna upload this, but tomorrow's vlog will be me being a bit sleep deprived, but proud to wake up when I wanted to wake up. That's it, guys. All right. Oh, and by the way, this thing on my nose, it's just tape. It helps me breathe better.